So a lot's going on. Looks like crypto is back. Bitcoin's up 3%. I just want to see it above 42. It's holding up well above that. This still could be a bull trap, so not too excited on the Bitcoin, but alts are firing up, bro. They're firing up. All right, so we're gonna look at a bunch of altcoins in this. So sit back, relax, become a member to see these videos in their full context. So where do we start? Bitcoin, let's look at it. So we got Bitcoin breaking above this resistance level on the hourly. We can look at it on the daily too. It's above that 200, dog. It's above that 200 and it's trying to push. I will say if Bitcoin gets to, it's got to push past 48 and be knocking on 50. Let's just say if Bitcoin pushes past 50 in the next couple of days, I will say that was the bottom and we're going to at least test the top. That's a stretch, dog. That's a stretch, but it's looking good. It could very well come up, make a high, but it still end up being a lower high on the full scale of things. So we're making swing highs and it's looking really good. It's above 200, 3 days in a row. That's looking really good. Let's look at some of these biggest gainers. So we got ETH. Let's look at ETH. Everybody is really boned out over ETH right now, for the lack of a better term. On the hourly, it's looking really good. You know, you don't want to buy a chart that looks like me. You do, because the trend is your friend, but you know, this thing is going straight up for the past like 2 weeks, you know, up and up and up. You know, it's gonna reverse at some point. Now a lot of people think that's gonna be pretty much never, right? But I think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna be getting into my strategy and why you should buy these cryptos, but maybe not right now. So Ethereum's pushing up. This is a very interesting formation. I don't think I hardly ever see anything looks like that, but it's just going up and up and up, pushing again past the 13. But the problem with Ethereum is these damn gas fees. What? Those gas fees are, all right now. It's 85, still pretty high considering the price of ETH. But I mean, they were as high as 1,000 Gwei, bro. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But my EIP 1559. Moving on. So Ethereum's looking good. It's looking better than everything. It's well above the 200. Bullish cross happened a long time ago, so it's leading the market, and we see a lot of alts copying what it's doing. So let's look at some of the biggest gainers. We also got Hex up 4%. Let's look at Hex really quick. Hex I don't think is quite ready yet, but that's a good move right there. First off, it's broken this resistance right here. We were watching this, and as of last night, or really this morning, it's broken this trend. Now, all we're gonna do is wait for the high to get put in. Hopefully it's a swing high. Let's look at it here. You know, for me, I don't know about you, but hopefully for me, it's a swing high. If you're trying to buy, it might be about over. Looking pretty much 13 cents or above the 13.34 moving averages, which we can see on the daily chart here. Now it did just get a bearish cross, and ultimately I'm looking for Hex to break this trend right here. If it gets above these moving averages, it really needs an engulfing candle today. We'll get it up at least above the 13 and start to turn this thing around, but it doesn't get bullish until the moving averages cross bullish. So this is a bearish cross, which we can see right here, because this moving average is crossing down. We want to see this moving average crossing back up. So Hex looks pretty good, but it's up there. You know, what I would recommend with Hex is get as much stakes in as you can. That's what I'm doing. I actually kind of slipped behind a couple of days because I've been distracted with B-Swap. B-Swap is like, if you've been in the members, you know what I'm talking about, but if not, BSW. Is it B-Swap or BuySwap? $1.31. I've been DCAing into this. The APY is really high on it, but it has the old admin keys. So, you know, there's that. If it has admin keys, they can take all your money. But I remember B-Swap is, I'm pretty sure this is Betfury's team. So it's a centralized type of thing going on, but they are some grinders, though. Like, they go hard. Same thing with Hex. You know what I'm saying? If Hex did good, I'm gonna try and check out Pulse. Betfury did good, I'm gonna check out BuySwap. Let's look at the chart for BuySwap. This is Holochain. Holochain is looking good too, because I was gonna talk about the biggest gainers. Look at the biggest gainers before we look at BuySwap. Holochain, Ravencoin, Polygon, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I have some. BitTorrent. That's a lot. No, I didn't sell my BitTorrent. I sold a lot of it though. Let's look at that. Let's see if we're gonna regret that. So I sold a lot of stuff for that Pulse sacrifice. Just because I said, well, these things can go up, but how much are they gonna go up in 2-3 months? They might double up, but are they gonna outperform Pulse in the long run? I don't think so. BitTorrent coming up to some resistance here. It's looking pretty good, but it's not looking as good as Matic or Polygon. So Matic broke out of that trend. It broke its swing high here as of today, and it's coming up to test another one up here. It could get to there in a flash, but I'm not chasing this, and I'm gonna tell you why. What I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for higher lows. I don't want to buy and FOMO into this market because this could be a bull trap. You know, I said it all the time. So if the market is in a bull trap right now, that means that if you start buying these altcoins now, you might make it to $1.70. You might get a pump above there. But when it starts to roll over and start to put in that low, is it gonna put in a higher one? Is it gonna put in a higher low? Because it might put in a lower one. So we're looking at this trend right here. So you want Matic to stay on this trend, which is unsustainable. It will eventually break this trend, but when it breaks it, you want it to hold in this area. You don't want it to start breaking $1. Matic starts breaking $1, it's gonna be looking pretty bad. And even if it breaks $1, it still could end up putting in a higher low, but the higher low would end up being at like 75 cents on this 200, or up as high as 80. Be prepared to hodl if you're chasing these. My suggestion, or what I'm doing, what I'm going to be doing for the rest of crypto eternity, is just buying new stuff. So that brings me to BuySwap. So BuySwap is brand new and it has a extremely high APY, but it has admin keys. I'm gonna start shouting that it has admin keys. Okay, so let's look at it. Let's go to launch pools. 528%. I'm gonna pick up that penny. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna reach for that penny on the railroad there. You know what I'm saying? That's like picking up a bar of gold in front of a freight train. So in the past 24 hours, I've earned about 128. So what I'm doing is I'm consolidating all of my deals. I might regret this. I might be better off doing this with Hex as far as like DCAing. I should probably be DCAing into Hex and staking Hex, but I have so much Hex. I have a lot of Hex. I want to kind of diversify. Don't hit me, guys. Don't hit me. I kind of want to diversify a little bit. And this APY is just, how can I not? I know the team has a started audit, but what I do is I use app.unrect.net. This should be your best friend, app.unrect.net. This lets you revoke all the things that can take your money, basically. Everything that can take your money, it will show on here and show you how much of it can take. So this contract can take all of my bone. This contract can take all of my Hex or liquid Hex. Anything you have liquid in your wallet, all of my USDC. So what I try to do, and I need to make a better habit of it, is revoking these things as I use them. Wow, BSwap is starting to take off a little bit. Is it BSwap or BuySwap? Okay, nice. It's a nice move. Now, my logic with these things is, as long as the coin kind of stays where it's at or goes down just a little bit, it basically doesn't rug, I'm going to be profitable on this because the APY is so high. So even if it starts to come down, breaks its 200, I'll just hodl and compound. It's an auto compounding contract. So yeah, that's my strategy with that. What's some other ones? Quick has really taken off, but it's pulling back. I wouldn't chase this. I mean, I'm not buying Quick anyway, but I would bet that this would be close to being the powerhouse Matic. Now, the thing that kind of rubs me wrong about QuickSwap, if I go to their exchange here and look at their data, their liquidity and their volume isn't really, it's growing a little bit, but it's not going up as much as you would. I expected to click on this and see moonage. It's not happening like it was in the DeFi summer 2020, where this was going up and liquidity and volume was going up. I would be wary on things like that. Cake come up to a nut, broke this swing high right here above 200 and testing swing high here at 21. It's looking good. Let's look at BNB. BNB looking very similar. Cardano's looking really good, actually. It's not even that far from its all-time high. Cardano's another one I sold for Pulse. Didn't sell all of it. I sold half of my Cardano for Pulse. Go ahead, do your thing, Cardano. I don't believe you. You usually, Charles. When I ever say Cardano, I say Charles. I don't believe you. If you come out with smart contracts, that's great, but it's probably gonna suck. So I'm gonna bet that it's gonna suck, at least initially. It's gonna be overhyped. So can Cardano go to $5 from here? Sure, but that's not even that much. That's like a double from here. I'm expecting like hundreds of X's on Pulse Chain. So maybe in the short term, I might be like, but in the long term, I think I'm gonna be glad that I made that swap. But that's what it's all about, man, making moves. Bitcoin, Cardano, Sushi. Let's look at Axie Infinity, just for the clout. Look at that clout. Axie looks good today. Let's look at it on the daily chart. Ooh, this is another one. I mean, this, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Chainlink. In 2020, 2019, 2020, I think Chainlink pretty much started the bull run. This was Chainlink, and everyone was begging me to get into Chainlink the entire year, and I just didn't chase it. And then once I finally was like, I'm about like 20 Chainlink, starts going down. I had 15,000 Chainlink at one time. That's another story. SHIB is one, I already have it. I just don't want to buy more of it. It's starting to try to floor here. You want to look for the floor. You want to see things that were going down and then they stopped going down. That means that market is possibly flooring. So we'll look for a break of this trend. 10,000 penny Yoshis. That's a good level to say it's starting to reverse. But just know, I seem to have happened all through what, 2018. And this is just the hourly chart. I mean, this looks good though. Bullish cross on the daily, set off the alarm, set off the alarm. We got a bullish cross on SHIB. I wouldn't buy it. I mean, I can't suggest ever, I can barely ever suggest buying crypto, yo. Like, it's always a risk. You gotta be ready to hodl this stuff. I don't recommend buying anything that doesn't stake. Luckily SHIB stakes, but that APY is weak. I mean, when I can get 527 from this, that's something that I kind of know, I'm not gonna reach for no 8%, yo. You see what happened to damn box mining? No way I'm reaching for no 8% APY. And what's funny about that is he even said in the video, he was like, look at this, how could I not do 48%? How could I not do 43%? And he's like, well, it actually wasn't that high. It was actually like 8%. I'm like, dude, you can put less and get the same amount in other stuff. What he probably had in that wing finance at that, like, come on, dude, you on wing? What he had on wing finance, he could have put less of that into something like BuySwap or something, you know, not even as risky as buy. He could have did it on PancakeSwap and earned 80%, 90%, you know, at least reach for 100% on the APY. Like when it starts slipping below 100%, I'm like, all right, man, I'm out of here. It ain't worth it. So just learn from his mistakes and mine, and definitely use app.unwrecked.net so you don't get wrecked. It's like, I can't help but give the high energy when I know Cam gonna do something.